Dylan Walker is preparing to make his club debut for the Eels as Parramatta struggle to find a win under rookie coach Jason Ryles.
Dylan, welcome to Parramatta.
Yeah, it was pretty busy. It happened real quick. I flew over one weekend, met with Rylesy. They're very accommodating. They were nice. I got a sense of feeling that it just felt the right move.
That initial conversation you had with Jason, where does he see your value?
Yeah, just the similar role what I've been doing, just through that middle third, controlling the middle, helping the halves out. There's quality plays here, and that's what I saw. It just needs a bit of confidence. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. Been in this situation before in Manly where we lost 4 in a row, and there's a lot of potential here, and I saw that, and I saw the real growth. So quality football side here, a good bunch of blokes. You put those two together, work hard, you can go off and running. And that's what I'm banking on, and just can't wait to go out there this weekend and show what I can do.
Yeah, Dylan Walker there, I don't think he's under too much pressure. He's coming over from the Warriors. They're already struggling at the moment, but hopefully for Parramatta he makes an impact. But it feels like Parramatta are beginning a 4-year rebuild. How did they get in this position?
I think it's a byproduct of a new coach, quite simply, that Jason Ryles wants to put his stamp on his way. Look, there's a suggestion throughout the game and that, Brian Smith, Gordy, you might be able to speak to this, Brian Smith had a bit of a mentality of when getting to a new club, clean house, get rid of the leaders, take control, have a younger group at your disposal. That way you can dictate the path of that group much easier when you've got your more senior experienced players still hanging around from the former coach.
Yeah, but I've also heard Wayne Bennett say, when you get to a new club, you don't want to change too much. You might bring 1 or 2 players in, but you got to figure out what you got under the bonnet, and you got to try and figure a way to make it work, so that then you know exactly how you need to get to where you need to get to.
You can put old parts in anywhere to get it working.
Well, I think there's no greater example that Jason Ryles is doing his way with Bryce Cartwright, Ryan Madison, Kelma Tuolangi sitting in New South Wales Cup, and kids are being debuted on the bench. In scenarios.
It's come at a cost though, Dave. Like if you look at
the
numbers to start the year, it's been a brutal beginning. Like you go back to Parramatta in the opening month of their season last year, I think they won 2 out of their opening 4 games. They certainly were a lot tighter defensively. The decisions to move on Clint Gutherson and Regan Campbell-Gillard have clearly bit them on the arse. And I just feel, I don't know how we went from Parra making a grand final in 22.
You went back into the lab again today.
Yes, so they let me back in somehow, Braith. This tells the tale of the tape. So to begin the season in 2024, Parramatta won 2 games this year, 0 wins. Points scored, you can see they were going okay last year. This year they are sitting last. They've only scored 11 points. Points conceded, last year they were 8th, this year they're last. 32.5 points per game, that's a hell of a lot. Missed tackles aren't great either, and then you got your run meters conceded to round it out. So those numbers don't lie, and yes, the Eels had some challenges early doors last year after the opening month of the season, but I think it just shows you, I don't know how Parra went from being in a premiership window and making a grand final in 22.
Didn't they sack BA because they had the team to win a premiership and they thought he couldn't get them there?
Yes, and they said at that time that they still thought that they had a roster capable of competing for a premiership. Well, now it's at an axe taken.
It feels like you're giving Jason Ryles no time to put his imprint on the club to transition which way he wants to take it.
No, I'll give him all the time in the world, Dave, because he's 4 games into a 4-year deal. But the numbers don't lie, and some of the decisions so far, I think if you ask Rylesy now, with the benefit of hindsight, would he make the same calls? He might have a different view.
You mean with Gutho?
Absolutely.
Because Moses is out, that's a big loss, right? So that impacts the numbers there.
Absolutely.
To a degree. Not like, I'm not going to try, can you, your lab. But Gutho, the energy he brings to a team, like, he's just irreplaceable. Like, even in his losses, and even he's always competing.
We saw it against the Melbourne Storm. Super Saturday last week, we saw it against the Melbourne Storm. If he doesn't play that game, I don't think St George will win. It's not just what he does with the ball or the little tip-ons in attack. It's his organisation defensively and the amount of tries that he stops. He is, Braith, you're right. He is a leader. He's an energiser bunny. So, look, I just get the feeling as though that hasn't worked out as a great decision for the Eels.
Can we not ignore that Dylan Brown's in, like, career low form?
Yes.
Like, again, an attacking spark for that side. He's not.
Can I just say, though, has there been a long period of time in his career or a length of time where he has been in great form?
You say, yeah, it's
I think he
sporadic.
started the year that they made the grand final strongly, maybe half a dozen or 8 games. He was very consistent with running the football.
Yeah.
And then as they went on the run into the finals, he was strong. But no, aside from that, Braith, there hasn't been a strong, consistent, massive block.
I think because of the whole fanfare and deal that he's got at Newcastle, it's put pressure on him, but, he hasn't reached great heights at all yet.
Not at all, mate.
You'd have to have squirrels in your head when it's on the back page and the front page of so many papers. Everybody's got an opinion on it.
Yeah.
It's the richest deal in the history of the game.
But it's obviously...
Yeah, but Hoops, he
comes
signed
with
it.
Yeah, I know, but that's not the point, though. It comes with enormous pressure and enormous scrutiny.
And what is a concern is his response to it. The way he's playing now, the elite of our game, the best of our game, no
see
matter
him respond.
No matter what the
Champions
outside,
respond.
the champions respond. That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
And this is, it's hard to knock him because I actually think he's got so much potential.
It's not his fault.
And I actually think he'll be a
I'll
good
say it now,
buy.
they've asked him to do a job that he can't do.
Yeah.
The sad part is...
That's what it is.
The sad part is when I watch him, and I'm not a coach, and I'm not a talent scout, but when I watch him, I think he's a ball runner. I think he's more suited to the centres than moving closer to the ruck. Yeah. And I think he's a mile away from running a footy side, and we've caught him a couple of times. And hopefully, Dylan Walker can open him up a little bit so he can get his run.
Dylan plays quite square.
And he can open him up a little bit, but it's chalk and cheese. And sometimes he's lost. He doesn't look like a big talker. Like when you watch him, he's not pointing. Like he's not even getting involved. Yeah. So I don't know how he digs himself.
He just needs to step it up somehow, some way.